Two receivers out to each side. Mahomes with a deep drop. Now moving in the pocket. Running to the right and running well. He's at the 50. He's trying to run for the first down. He goes out of bounds. And the Bengals push him after he was out of bounds. Multiple flags are going to tack 15 yards onto this play. 8 seconds left in regulation. And with that penalty, the Chiefs will be in field goal range.
Man, you have to be more aware. This football team has got a lot of awareness. Not on that play.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 58. The penalty is 15 yards from the end of the play. Automatic first down.
First of all, I just want to thank God, man. Woo! Burrow had my ass. Woo! It's Mahomes' house. Hey.
Oh, that's perfect. Perfect way to start the week. It's Mahomes' house, he said. Welcome into Gold Ball Sports, episode 18, along with Ken Keller and Dave Myers. I'm Scott Chastain. Pleased to have you in here. We missed you last week. It's good to be back. Good to be back on line here. We got a lot of sports to talk about, and we begin with professional football. Great weekend, great Sunday of championship games. Ken, let's just go ahead and jump right in on the NFC there and talk about that game. I think there could be podium recipients from that game, but 49ers never had a chance.
All right, so
the Eagles never had a chance.
We're going to talk the boring game first.
Well, they never. they just, Purdy went out early with an elbow injury. They bring in fourth string quarterback Josh Johnson, whoever that is, from San Diego University, and they had zero confidence in Josh Johnson moving the football. I've almost never seen a professional quarterback they had less confidence in him in such a big game. I was shocked.
I agree. The 49ers really looked pretty good until that game yesterday, Scott.
They were great.
Yeah, so they come in, they beat the Cowboys last week 19-12. So, hey, I got to admit, I did not want to see yesterday the 49ers and the Bengals win a repeat of the 1981 Super Bowl, because that's the year that, of course, Joe Montana, the catch to Dwight Clark, Dwight Clark and Freddie Solomon, they beat my beloved Cowboys 28-27. So I was rooting against the 49ers yesterday, but hey, props out to the Philadelphia Eagles. Look, they only gave up 14 points in 2 games. They wiped out the New York Giants 38-7 last week. They win 31-7, but as you said, quarterback injuries. Have you ever seen an NFL team, or really a college team, lose their top 3 quarterbacks? And as you said, so you have Trey Lance went out earlier this year towards ACL. Then you have Jimmy Garoppolo break an ankle. And then Brock Purdy, the story coming in really to the playoffs. He was 7-0, 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in that 7-game winning streak. And, he gets hit and fumbles the ball. And, really on the play, the sack that was made, you knew there was some kind of bad. The way he hyperextended that elbow, I was watching it with a buddy of mine. I said, that doesn't look good. He's got the Tommy John injury. And as it turned out, a UCL ulnar collateral ligament torn. So that's a 6-month injury. That's a severe injury. And I hope that he can come back and be healthy. But I was looking for the other JJ to come in at quarterback. We were screaming for Jawan Jennings to come in at quarterback because, Scott, as you're right, Josh, who's been in the league for 10 years, he was terrible. And, when they put Purdy back in after he went out and got knocked out with a concussion, when they put Brock Purdy back in, he threw 2 passes, but they were just barely, past the line of scrimmage. You knew at that point the Eagles was just going to put 9 in the box and suffocate them, and that's what happened.
And, I'm going to give away one of my podium spots here, but it's okay because it's in the flow of the conversation. Jawan Jennings, first-team All-State quarterback in high school. Started out as a quarterback at the University of Tennessee. There's pictures of him in, throwing the football. Started out as a quarterback. Now, got to keep in mind that a lot of professional football players were quarterbacks in high school, especially skill position players. A lot of them were. And they may very well have known that Jauan Jennings couldn't do anything at quarterback in an NFL game. He probably hadn't ever taken even one snap in practice as a quarterback. But doggone it, Jauan Jennings is a dog. He is one of the biggest dogs in the National Football League. He is a tough son of a gun, a winner. All he does is make plays. You look at those other 49ers receivers, and they got stars there and Kittle and whatnot. But the blocker on that team is number 15, Jauan Jennings. You watch their big plays. He's clearing out somebody. And you just think that Shanahan might have thought, I've got nothing to lose here. I have no confidence in Josh Johnson, so I might as well put somebody in who I have no confidence in.
And I was
at least who's tough.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to do something, because what they did, they just curled up in fetal position and abandoned the game plan. There was no vertical passing game downfield, as you said. They just quit and gave up. The last quarter and a half. I mean, there's 10 minutes to go in the game. 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. They've got plenty of time to come back. Philadelphia at that point, I believe, had a 21-7 halftime lead. And it's like, okay, they had the McCaffrey touchdown run, about a 20-yard touchdown run, an explosive run for a touchdown. But there was just no threat. I said they have no balance. They have no passing game. And it was really embarrassing to watch an NFL game. I don't care if you're down to your fourth-string quarterback. At least draw up a street, a playground, some playground plays. You got George Kittle, you got Deebo Samuel, as you said. You got Christian McCaffrey coming out of the backfield. I was waiting for McCaffrey. He did chunk one down the field, I think, on a trick play, and it's like it wasn't within 20 yards. But I wanted to see more of those kind of passes. Put Jennings in, do something to at least throw the ball down the field and give yourself a chance. But they just kept handing off, left, right, handing off. And then at that point, the Eagles didn't want to get Jalen Hurts' shoulder hit anymore, and they just quit running him after the middle of the third quarter.
Sure.
And it just took the air out of the ball, and it was just one of the most boring, to be quite frankly, NFC Championship games I've ever seen. But I know that some devastating quarterback injury there to Purdy, let the air out of the sails for the 49ers. But
and on the other side, the Eagles. Offense looked really good against a great 49ers defense. I think the air went out of the whole 49ers organization when Purdy couldn't come back in, and I think they were all beat right then. But to the Eagles' credit, they made sure of it.
Yeah, and they lost Purdy, and then I think the next series they lose Bosa for a while, limping around on a bad knee, and but he came back in, but it's like, oh man, their two best players gone in a matter of 5 minutes. But yeah, look, the Eagles are so balanced. That offensive line playing really good. Jalen Hurts, an MVP candidate certainly in the NFL, and when he's in the game, they win. They lost 2 games this year, but I don't think they've lost a game that he started. And you got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and you got Dallas Gobert at tight end, and a couple pretty good running backs. And the Eagles, they're flying high right now. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Well, they need to be flying high because they're going to face off with the top organization over the last, 5, 6, 7 years in the National Football League, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. Held on, beat Cincinnati by a field goal at the end. Great game. Just it made up for the first game and how competitive it was. It was so cold, man. It just looked brutal there in Kansas City. But when it counted the most, Mahomes was the man.
Yeah, Mahomes came through, and you come into this game and you're asking yourself, really, after last week, after Joe Burrow went into Buffalo and did to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills what he did, just the look in his eye and the charisma and leadership that guy played with. Look, I saw him play live in 2019 in Tuscaloosa, with the year he won the national championship, won the Heisman Trophy for Ed Orgeron's LSU Tigers, and he looked a lot like that last week. He'd been playing great football. They came in on a big win streak, and he just took it to just the look in his eyes to Josh Allen. I didn't know if they could do it or not. They beat Buffalo last week, and then they come into this game riding sky high, and Mahomes had a bad ankle that he hurt last week against Jacksonville, and I really thought the Buffalo Bills were going to win that game, but the Cincinnati Bengals were going to win that game yesterday, Scott. But I got to ask you this, because we started the show off with that personal foul, late hit out of bounds by number 58. You know, a boneheaded play by that Bengal. You know, Mahomes went 5 yards out of bounds. But with the calls that you saw, hindsight's 2020, the officiating that you saw, that you witnessed in that NFL game, I've said on this show before that the NFL coddles Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, that Mahomes was the NFL's poster child. If the tables were turned, Scott, I'm going to make you point blank answer this question, and Joey Burrow had been hit in the same exact scenario, would a flag for a personal foul been thrown in that situation had the roles been reversed and the quarterbacks changed there?
Yes, I believe it would have. It was such an obvious, blatant personal foul. It wasn't some by an inch or two. It wasn't some judgment call. Was he in bounds or out of bounds? It was a blatant, very late personal foul by 58 there. And I felt terrible for the guy as they kept showing him sitting on. I mean, he was just unconsolable on the bench, just sobbing, unconsolable. Is that even a word? So I felt terrible for him. But, yeah, you think there's – and before I go on and hand the baton back off, I will say that I thought throughout the game Kansas City got multiple calls. Mm-hmm. If there was a judgment call, it went Kansas City's way. In fact, one time they got 5 downs to get a first down. So that was weird.
Jeez.
Although the explanation was legitimate, it was just weird.
Yeah.
To answer your question, I think it would have been a personal foul had it been the other way.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got a quick Jared Swain. You know Jared, always in the chat. He does pose a question I'd like for you all to discuss. At some point, are we going to have officials of whatever league, professional, college, whatever it is, are we going to have some accountability for bad calls during games at some point in the life of sports? Because it's been quite a show the past couple of years. No, we are not going to have accountability by officials, especially on the professional level.
This is what I would say, and I've said this before. The way you hold them accountable is you do what they did in the 70s and the 80s. Go back on YouTube and watch some 70s playoff games in the NFL. The first thing they did was they would flash on the screen all the officials in that game. And it wasn't a gotcha moment. It wasn't to get those guys. It was to recognize them. It was a hallowed position. It was an honor to be able to call a professional football game. Now these officials, they're looked at with such vitriol and venom by the fan bases of these teams, but they bring it on themselves. Let me tell you folks something. Go back and watch that Eagles game yesterday against the 49ers and watch the right tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Early.
I saw him at least with the naked eye, folks, and I have one eye. Okay? I've got one eye that I can see out of. At least 5 times on the passing plays, he would come out of his stance a quarter, half a second early every time. Not one single flag was thrown in that situation. Not one. I saw numerous false starts yesterday. No flags. NFL, do you call legal procedures or false starts anymore? What is the deal? Put their names back on the screens. Hold them accountable. Put their names out there. Social media is a big deal. And if they call stupid calls and blatant missed calls, yeah, they need to be called out on social media. That's fair game.
social media is
About all you can do for it. All you can do with it.
social media is a different story, but on no level of athletics, be it junior NBA basketball, high school, college, professional, in no sport, on any level, are the officials held accountable? Because to me, it's just too easy to go back and watch the tape and find mistakes. People make mistakes in the course of living life. And thank God nobody has to go back and watch my mistakes every day. So they're never going to be accountable. That's the way it's set up. Sports is controlled by a lot of different things. I'm trying to hedge around what I really think about gambling and sports. But I mean, Jared asked the question, are they ever going to be held accountable? You say they should. I say they won't.
Yeah, and look, the SEC, they, you know, if a crew botches, I've seen crews get suspended before. They Arkansas Auburn
Didn't
game in
change
2020, they were suspended. But you know, that same crew come in and called the college football playoff game this year. Jason Autry, we made him famous on this show this year.
So you're making my point, and we'll move on. But my point being that they're not held accountable. Even when they make blatant, obvious mistakes and get suspended for a game, they're back calling championship games. So they're just not going to be held accountable. So we got the Eagles and we got the Chiefs. You know, I picked the Bills.
Did we talk about the? Did we talk about the Chiefs game?
Yes, Ken.
And did we break it down?
Welcome to the show.
Did we break it down?
Welcome to the show.
Okay. I mean, did we really break it down?
We broke it down. I mean, everybody saw it.
So what was your thoughts about, I want to revisit, let's talk about the scramble play, though. I mean, what an amazing job on the bad wheel of Mahomes. I know he was hit out of bounds, but for him to get out of the pocket and make the scramble, I mean, what guts there about Patrick Mahomes.
That's one of those greatness plays. Yeah. That's one of those plays that defines greatness, that you look back on and you say, that was greatness.
Yeah.
Because he was definitely hurting.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't think there was any overhype of this ankle injury. I mean, a high ankle sprain is tough, and you could tell during the whole game he was hurting. But like he said in the post-game interview, you know, the play had to be made. Yeah. You play to win the game, and the play had to be made. And, man, that dude sucked it up, and it was only 8 yards or whatever, but it won the game.
Yeah, one more point. So I really thought Kansas City was going to lose the game. You know, about 2.5 minutes left, inside 3 minutes. They had the ball 4th down on the 35-yard line of the Bengals, and they elected to punt. They're on a 3rd down. And I was saying, man, you know, you're only going to gain 15 yards out of this if you kick it out of the end zone. They did kick it inside the 10. Joey B comes out, and I think they get around to the 50-yard line, and then they get held and have to punt. But I thought at that point Joey B was going to pull it out in the last couple minutes. I did
too.
Did you? Did you kind of feeling, hey, Joey B's going to take it right here?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did. But we underestimated the greatness of Pat Mahomes.
Good football game. Second one was a good one.
So Eagles and the Chiefs. Now we've got next week. Break this whole thing down.
Yeah.
But just on the front end, your thoughts?
You know, I think it's got the propensity to be a really high scoring football game. Both teams have good defenses, but you got super athletic quarterbacks that can run, pass, and you got weapons all over the field by both teams. So I think this is going to be a high scoring football game.
Should give Mahomes some time to heal. I'm sure yesterday took quite a toll on a high ankle sprain. But he's got 2 weeks, so hopefully he'll be healed. I hope the teams are healthy, has the makings of a great Super Bowl.
Which Kelsey brother's going to win?
Yeah. I don't know.
I hope the Eagles win.
We don't have to pick that this week.
Yeah. I didn't, really, Travis Kelsey. Does that boy get on your nerves?
Nope. I like him.
You like him?
Yeah. I always like those guys. I like Kittle. I like Kelsey. I always like those brash guys. That's what makes sports more entertaining, is guys who wear their emotion on their sleeve.
Well, I mean, I think
he's the best tight end in history.
I think he went a little bit overboard. In fact, making fun of Joey B and Joey Bingle and calling it Burrowhead Stadium. Mate, he's 1-3.
That's
1-3 against Burrow. Come on, man. That's the first game you beat him?
Yeah.
And you're going to come out there and act like a fool like that?
Absolutely. It's the most important game. Look, Tennessee hadn't beaten
man.
Alabama for 15 years. But when Tennessee beat Alabama, Vol Nation didn't say, well, we hadn't won in 15 years, so we ought not celebrate like we are the king of the world. Heck no, man. That's sports. You celebrate like you're the king of the world.
He
Burrow
did.
head my ass.
He did.
Yeah,
He sure did.
it's Arrowhead.
Oh,
It's
man.
a Pat Mahomes house. That's what Travis Kelce had to say. All right, let's switch gears here, shall we? On this 18th episode of Gold Ball Sports, we are live in Tullahoma, Tennessee from the DKI Apex Restoration Studios on Atlantic Street. And it's time to go to the podium, and we're going to start the podium with our friend Mr. Bill.
Motown Philly's back again, doing a little East Coast swing. Am I on? Oh no! Thanks to Mr. Scott, Mr. Kidd, and Mr. Dave for allowing me to step up on the podium to present my gold medal today. This week's gold medal goes to Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts. Spot told me that Jalen is his choice for NFL MVP this year, and it's hard to argue that there has been a more valuable player to his team than Jalen. Jalen is in the top 3 quarterbacks for passer rating and average yards per attempt, and leads all NFL quarterbacks in both rushing yards and touchdowns, leading the Eagles to the best record in the NFL while playing in the toughest division. Still with the badly injured shoulder, Jalen was still really mean to the 49ers, blowing them out in a game that was over before halftime. Sluggo says it was a lot like Boys to Men, with the 49ers being the boys. Jalen has improved every season and developed into a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, quieting his critics who said he'd never make a difference in the NFL. Well, that's all for this week. Sluggo says he wants to see how badly he can injure my shoulder. Oh no!
Oh, that's good stuff. Mr. Bill bringing out the gold medal right off the bat. Jalen Hurts. Certainly can't argue with that.
No.
Man, dude was and has been all year on his game.
Yeah, and you know we've got Bill here adorned with this gold medal, and he gave it to Jalen Hurts. You know, and said he's thinks he should be the MVP, and I really can't argue with him. And so I think that was a great selection there by Mr. Bill. He nailed it. And Motown Philly, Boys to Men, and the boys yesterday were the 49ers. And you know one thing that I noticed about that is look, the NFL glamour shots with the quarterbacks, you know, with Josh Allen, then it was Joey Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. Yesterday, they went to Mahomes right after the win, but the television crew in the Philadelphia game went to their Philadelphia head coach, not to Jalen Hurts. This guy does not relish the limelight. He doesn't really care to be in front of the cameras, not really, you know, crazy about doing interviews, and he just wins and does it quietly. And that's what I like about Jalen Hurts, just a humble guy, and I'm rooting for him.
I think if he wins, he'll get his time in the interview room. Got Patrick Mahomes has got a Super Bowl and another Super Bowl and multiple championship game appearances. Philly's just coming. Jalen Hurts is just getting started. All right, our podium. I'll start first.
All right.
Bronze medal goes to the University of Tennessee basketball team. The Vols now ranked where?
Not sure.
Number 2 in the nation. The Vols now ranked number 2, smoked Texas Saturday in the SEC Big 12 showdown. Texas ranked number 10. Tennessee came in ranked 5th, I think. Led from start to finish. It was probably the best win for the SEC in the whole showdown. Tennessee was at home. I'll give you that. Tennessee was at home. But Olivia Kumwa Awesome. Dude is unbelievable. From Helsinki, Finland, Olivia Kumwa had 26 points and 7 rebounds. He was unstoppable by Texas defense. Zakai Ziegler had a double-double. Very impressed with Vols against a top 10 team. I don't have a lot of confidence in the postseason for Tennessee. Rick Barnes is going to have to prove that. He never has at Tennessee. But regular season, man, these guys are great. Bronze medal, Tennessee Volunteers.
Well, a big win for Tennessee, and I think they got retribution on they were calling him UT Junior during the game, but because Texas, I think, wiped them out last year in the Big 12 SEC
by 1
challenge.
point in overtime.
Okay, 1 point in overtime. Okay, so they did get revenge on them.
But the University of Tennessee was established before Texas even became a state. So there's no question which is the real UT, and it's horns down.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch. You know, we talked about it. I think that in the football, that they're going to match up Texas against Tennessee probably in
as often as they can.
Yeah,
it's going to be a big money game.
That first year, it'll be exciting to watch Arch Manning, and then of course Peyton in the stands.
Your bronze.
My bronze is going to go to a field goal kicker, okay? Because in the postseason, we've seen in the college football playoffs, we've seen the Ohio State Buckeyes blow a field goal to potentially knock off number 1 Georgia Bulldogs, to lose the game on a shank field goal. We saw my beloved Dallas Cowboys miss 4 straight extra points in one football game of a pro game, which I've never seen in 5 out of 6, that being Brett Mayer of the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm giving my bronze tonight to Harrison Butker of the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, I don't care what anybody says, that even from 45 yards out with that kind of pressure on, going to a Super Bowl, you got to come through clutch. Butker probably would have made that field goal from 55 yards. He drilled it for the Kansas City Chiefs. So in a year that's not been so kind to field goal kickers, folks, it's so a crucial position. Clutch kicks are really hard to make. Harrison Butker sends the Kansas City Chiefs to the Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Butker.
Yeah.
Clutch Butker.
Yeah.
That almost sounds nasty, but it's got the old Clutch Buckner.
Yeah.
Butker. Yeah. He was awesome.
Yeah.
And that was stone cold, steady, right through the upright, 10 yards at least cleared.
Yeah.
Great bronze medal choice for Clutch Butker. I'm going to like saying that all
Yeah,
week.
you will.
All right, your silver medal.
My silver medal, I love defense. And really, when you look at the NFL playoffs, you got to look at the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles. And one linebacker, Hassan Reddick for the Eagles. This guy has been spectacular as the Eagles have held both the New York Giants and the San Francisco 49ers to just a single touchdown in both games of the playoffs. And he's the one that knocked Brock Purdy out. He's the one that knocked the backup, the 4th-string quarterback, out with a concussion yesterday and recovered a fumble. So Hassan Reddick, number 7 for the Philadelphia Eagles. Kansas City, you got a problem. You're going to have to deal with this man. Linebacker, I think, out of Temple. He was drafted in 2016 by the Arizona Cardinals in the 1st round. This dude is a beast. Philadelphia Eagles, Hassan Reddick gets my silver medal at the podium here on episode 18 of Gold Ball Sports.
Good silver medal. He had a hell of a game.
Yeah,
and that dude was everywhere making things happen. And Reed for the Chiefs, same thing, number 95. Both those guys had unbelievable games. Good silver medal choice. My silver medal choice for tonight is 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan. Now, this is a little offbeat podium award because Shanahan lost the game. But before it all goes into the history books and gets forgotten, it's already basically forgotten. Let's not forget that Kyle Shanahan got the 49ers to the NFC Championship game with a 3rd-string quarterback, a rookie, the last player taken in the NFL draft. Got all the way to the NFC Championship game, ended up playing with his 4th-string quarterback. Now, I wasn't impressed by how he played him, but the fact that he was forced to play the NFC Championship game with his 4th-string quarterback, it's a little bit of a sarcastic silver medal, because I wonder how in the world the 49ers ended up with Josh Johnson as the backup heading into the NFC Championship game. I mean, couldn't they have brought Tony Romo in from the booth? They could have brought in 150 guys that could have been better than Josh Johnson. How in the world do you have that guy as your four-string quarterback? But to get there with Brock Purdy down the stretch in the first round or two of the playoffs, Kyle Shanahan, you get my silver medal tonight.
Yeah, great year there for the 49ers. I think they're going to lose D'Amico Ryans probably to the Texans. But, yeah, you're right. And you wonder, seeing, Josh Johnson, how in the world has that guy lasted in the NFL 10 years? That's what I was after seeing him play yesterday. But, yeah, great recognition there for the 49ers. So go ahead and go with your gold.
My gold medal goes to Patty Mahomes. Patty Mahomes, all he did was win. All he does is win. I think he is quite humble to be as successful as he is. I mean, look, some people, life just smiles on. Okay, life is smiling on Patrick Mahomes over the last few years. He was at Texas Tech at college. He got basically no publicity, no hype. But this dude, man, is special. He keeps proving that he's special. I really appreciated his post-game interview yesterday. I think it would be easy for him to be extremely cocky. He doesn't seem to be that way. He's very likable in his commercials. And he's just a great, great NFL quarterback, potentially one of the greatest that we've ever seen, not because he's the biggest or the fastest or can throw it the farthest. It's those plays that he makes that we've never seen anybody really make. He's brought on a whole new dimension to playing quarterback in the NFL, and Jalen Hurd is one of the beneficiaries of Patrick Mahomes bringing in this whole new dimension of sidearm throws and no-look passes and just off-the-cuff plays. Patrick Mahomes just continues to excel. Big time earning a gold medal tonight, episode 18 of Gold Ball Sports.
Well, that's amazing because that's my exact gold ball winner as well.
For the weekend, it was really nobody else.
You look, the fact, and I'm not going to make a martyr out of the guy. He's playing football, and it was a high ankle sprain. But the guts he showed last week against the Jaguars, not wanting to come out of the game, not wanting to go to the locker room, you saw him not wanting to get X-rayed, X-rayed in the locker room, not even wanting to leave the field. He takes his jacket, slams it on the ground in disgust. That's a leader. That's a warrior. And then yesterday, so he takes out Trevor Lawrence in round 1, and then he takes out Joey B in round 2. Now, granted, Kansas City's offensive line, last week, they protected him. I mean, it was like a mother bird protecting a baby bird. After he got hurt, they just put a wedge around him, and he never even got touched by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I said Cincinnati's going to bring the heat. They're going to get him out of the game. They about did because he was limping badly. But look at the stats. 29 out of 43, 326 yards, 2 touchdowns. The big stat of the game, 0 picks. And you talk about greatness. I'm not there with him yet, but look at what he's done. 5 years in the NFL as a starter. 5 straight AFC Championship games.
What more do you need?
This is his third.
What more do you need?
You got to win them.
He's won a couple.
He's won one.
Won a Super Bowl.
Okay, he's won one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not ready to put him there yet. Okay,
right.
but 5 out of 5 AFC Championship games, 3rd Super Bowl. He's won one. If he gets 2, he joins an elite group, and he's got a great chance to do it. And he's still really young. Kansas City's got a really good team. I know that AFC's tough, but that he's got a chance to get in that
in the NFL
elite status.
You can define yourself in 5 years. 5 years is an above more than average length time career in the NFL. I disagree with Ken in that I don't think these quarterbacks have to play 15 years and win 3 Super Bowls to be great.
Well,
Aaron Rodgers is great. He's played a lot of years, only won 1 Super Bowl. I just think Patrick Mahomes is really, really great.
I am not ready to put him in Joe Montana or Tom Brady stats or Terry Bradshaw or even Troy Aikman.
I didn't say the greatest.
It's going to take a while, but he's getting there. He's getting there. All right, we got a video.
Let's play it.
Yeah, all right.
You're patient. I'm not.
Oh,
Viper strikes. Look at this. He's not hurt at all.
Funny video of Mahomes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good video.
Yeah, so that was my video. That was our video for the gold winner. So it applies to both of us since we both had it. But it's basically a wrestling caricature of Patty Mahomes body slamming DDT and Joey B and putting him out, man. And that's really what he did.
You're just a wrestling guy, aren't you?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool, man. It was a pretty cool little thing I saw on Twitter. But look, look, you talk about coaches demonstrating class. I was really impressed with the Cincinnati Bengal coach in the loss. He could have got on there and started griping about the referee calls.
Zach Taylor.
He didn't do it. He didn't do it, man. He said they outplayed us.
Yeah.
And so kudos, great year for the Bengals. They'll be back. Joey B, he's not done. He'll be back.
4 really solid coaches, 3 really solid quarterbacks. Those teams are not going anywhere. All right, it's time for us to hand out another trophy that we like to do each week. The participation trophy.
Gold Ball Sports, where participation trophies simply don't cut it.
And on the 18th time, he did it correctly.
We're so proud. Times.
Your participation trophy winner today, Mr. Keller.
Oh, look, man, to me, growing up, the greatest NBA rivalry was the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers. I love those games, Showtime against the Celtics. I was a Celtics guy coaching the Lakers with you now. You're sporting the Lakers purple and gold. I hated those colors back in the 80s. The greatest rivalry, individual rivalry, Magic Johnson against Larry Bird, goes back to Michigan State, Indiana State back in 1979, which I love watching that game, by the way, although your Michigan State Spartans beat my Indiana State Sycamores and Larry Bird. But Bird would get revenge. No other rivalry in the NBA, in my mind, compares to the Celtics and the Lakers. They got it on Saturday night in the Boston Garden. Don't even know if they call it still the Boston Garden, but
TV Garden.
TV Garden. My participation trophy goes to LBJ, Mr. LeBron James. And I'm watching this game, and I'm shocked at 36 years old of how good this guy was playing. He's draining threes all over the court. I mean, but the game's tied 105-105 in regulation. He drives to the basket, runs with the ball, carries the ball 4 steps, goes up, misses the shot, and cries for a foul. We've got a video here that you've got to see. Watch this crybaby after he doesn't get the call at the end of regulation. Mr. LeBron Crybaby James, this why he's not the GOAT.
You don't think he got fouled?
No, man.
You don't think he got fouled?
He ran with the ball 4 steps.
LeBron James, man.
Yeah, man.
That's LeBron James.
It was a good basketball game, but Scott, it was just so much different. We're going to get to the talk.
I hate the NBA.
We're going to talk about that game in a minute. We're going to got this next segment, right, Big D? Yeah, we got this next segment, but he's got to get my participation trophy. He participated well in the game, but at the end of regulation, Scott, I didn't like the way he turned into crybaby mode. He flops too much. And, man, I have a hard time saying this guy is the GOAT, even though I think he's fixing to break Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time scoring record in the NBA. I still don't have him in GOAT status. Sorry.
No, you only get one GOAT.
Only one GOAT.
There's only one GOAT.
It's Michael Jordan in my book.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. In basketball, there's only one GOAT. And you know, it's funny how some sports it's arguable and some it's not, right? But in basketball, to me, it's not.
Yeah, I agree.
Good participation trophy. It was okay for an NBA game.
Yeah.
It was fun watching the Lakers and Celtics. But we'll talk about that in a second. My participation trophy tonight, you know, where participation trophies just don't cut it, goes to the University of Alabama basketball team. They put out a product on Saturday against unranked Oklahoma. The number 2 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. Got beat, I don't know, 25, 30 points. I finally had to turn it off. I don't watch too many college basketball games from start to finish, but I watched that one, and I was embarrassed for fans of the University of Alabama, the product that they put on the court. Alabama is a great basketball team, but they just looked totally uninspired. I mean, they just got blown out from the start, Ken. They've been great all year. I was shocked.
That was a worthy recipient for your participation trophy.
They didn't offer much resistance to the unranked Oklahoma State.
Well, so I got to ask the serious question. So TCU lost by 58 points. They got to move up a spot. Did Alabama get to remain at number 2 by losing by 30? Are the AP voters in basketball the same as the AP voters in football?
Well, those weren't AP voters.
I'm grasping
that was the College Football Playoff Committee. But thankfully they're not.
Yeah. So, look, this is the thing. When you play a team that shoots 75+% on 3-point field goals, I don't care who it is. You're not going a team that's shooting a 3-ball like that. You're not going to beat. And in Oklahoma, they was on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, they was absolutely on fire. Look, Alabama can learn from this. Sometimes you're going to go into a tailspin, or you're going to learn from the loss. Alabama and Tennessee, February 15th is going to be a great basketball game. They're the two best teams in the SEC. Future debate: which one of them is going to go farther? Which has the better chance to go to the Final Four? They're talking both these programs potential Final Four / national champions. I don't know.
Well, would it be something for Tennessee and Alabama to both be number 1 seeds? That would be something else.
Something to behold.
But let's go back for a minute and talk about the Lakers and Celtics a little bit more.
Sounds good.
Again, Celtics win at 125-121 in overtime. And we had a good friend of the program, a watcher of the program, was actually at the game in TD Gardens. Let's play that. Yeah, Forrest, our band Forrest.
Yeah.
Telstorp and his parents at the game Saturday at TD Gardens. They went to Gordon Ramsay's kitchen to eat while they were there. What an awesome trip, and what a great atmosphere to be at. Most NBA games to me are not a great atmosphere in the regular season, but you put the Lakers and Celtics together, and it is a great atmosphere, and what a fun thing for them to get.
Oh, yeah, they get bonus basketball in an overtime game. The Celtics win, Forrest is on our junior NBA second, third grade basketball team as a member of the Lakers. He's sporting rocking the Larry Bird jersey, for the Celtics, and Larry Bird was my guy too. So, but let's talk about the game a little bit. So it was a great game. I thought the Lakers were going to win. Patrick Beverly hits a couple big threes. LeBron's hot down the stretch, but the Celtics closed late, and they send it into overtime and win the game. But, Scott, I liked the game of watching it in some aspects, just seeing some star power. Jason Tatum ball hogging the ball for the Celtics, and then LeBron James ball hogging for the Lakers. But although James was hitting his shots and Tatum was not hit, I think he was like 7 of 22 at one point from the floor. I said, dude, quit shooting, man. Pass the ball to your teammates. And, I think it was, Brown for the Celtics had a really good game. But
Jaylen.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown. But look, I saw no picks. I see no motion offense. I see no offensive rebounds. It's just a totally different. It's not team basketball. It's me, selfish basketball. Let me get my points. I'm coming across the the timeline, and I'm going to jack it up, clear out. Here I come. And Scott, it's just so much different than watching Michael Cooper and James Worthy and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Kirk Rambis and Magic Johnson against Dennis Johnson, Larry Bird, and all those, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, the Chief, and all these. They're not two great teams. They got star power paying them big money, but it's just not team basketball anymore, and I have a hard time. They don't pass the ball to each other. They don't share the basketball. It's ball hog ball, man.
Well, it's a perimeter game.
Yeah.
All levels of basketball.
Make me feel better about it.
I can't. I can't. It's a perimeter game. All levels of basketball are a perimeter game. You go to a high school game tomorrow night, Tullahoma will host Marshall County, and you watch them play. It's a perimeter game. It's a three-point game. Same thing with Alabama. Three-point shooting team all the way. They were off. That's why they lost. It's a three-point perimeter game. There are still pick and rolls at the top of the key and that sort of thing, but it always just sort of leads to one-on-one. That's just the game it is. I don't enjoy watching it as a habit or a hobby. I'll occasionally watch some, but it's not a game I enjoy watching. Not near as much as college basketball. In college basketball, everything filters down. It's becoming a three-point game, and it all just filters down. You're right. It's not the same basketball we had in the 80s or the 90s with the Bulls and the Heat and the Pistons and the Knicks and all those teams beating the hell out of each other all the time. Alonzo Mourning and Patrick Ewing and those guys. It's not the same basketball, and it never will be.
Nobody
it's not coming
defensively
back.
They do not defend the basket anymore.
It's not
I mean, it
back.
was like man, that's a sacred cylinder, man. You come within 3 feet of it, you're going to get slammed. You're going to get jacked up, and it's just not like that anymore.
No, it's not. It's not. I want to take a couple of minutes out here from the DKI Apex Restoration Studios on this Monday night, our final show in January, to talk for a couple of minutes about a couple of things. First of all, the Tullahoma Sports Council Hall of Fame induction ceremony is this week, Ken. It's Saturday night. Hall of Famers being inducted all over the place. I should have already had this pulled up. I'll pull it up quickly, but looking forward to that. That's always a big deal.
Yeah, it is. And, recognizing, Hall of Famers here in our city of Tullahoma, Tennessee, a great sports town. We both, grew up here and you've been following sports for a long, long time here. And, it's just ingrained in the culture here in Tullahoma, no doubt about it.
I'm fortunate enough to get to be able to MC this event
that's awesome.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
You going with me? I appreciate you doing that.
Thanks for the invite.
Kenny Pack, longtime official, will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Whitney Darlington Morris, the greatest softball player in Tullahoma history, will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Mark Moran, who's, as you know, you've coached against Mark over the years. He's just been involved in all levels of Tullahoma youth sports for 30 years at least. Clester Winningham.
Oh, wow.
26 state champion track and field athletes Coach Winningham coached, as well as wrestling and freshman football, that sort of thing. The Tullahoma High School baseball state champions from 1990 will be inducted. Folks like Chris Rickman, Craig Revis, and those guys will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. The whole team, 1990 baseball team, state champions. And then our friend John Olive, athletic director at Tullahoma High School, football coach for 29 years, state champion winning football coach. John Olive will be inducted into the Tullahoma Sports Hall of Fame. And then a couple of yearly recognitions. We always hand out yearly recognitions. Lily Story and Brinley Duncan will get yearly recognitions to the Hall of Fame for what they've accomplished during the past year. Last year, Hall of Fame ceremony got halted before it ever got started as our mayor had a medical emergency. And so looking forward to having the mayor back this year. 250 people will pack D.W. Wilson Community Center. The inside of it looks nothing like a community center. You will be shocked when you walk in. It looks like an event hall. They do a tremendous job, Jim Bratcher and the whole Tullahoma Sports Council. Looking forward to that. Also want to mention real quick that Motlow State Bucks softball team started their season this weekend. They went to Hanceville, Alabama, won 3 out of 4 games. It's a good start to the softball season. Baseball team will start its season this Saturday at Wallace State, doubleheader in Hanceville, Alabama. The women's basketball team at Motlow State, Ken, they were like 0-12. Been just a struggle. They only got 5 players. It's been a struggle. They beat Volunteer State in overtime Saturday in Gallatin. Wow. Their first win for head coach Jeremy Barbie and his girls there at Motlow. So congratulations to them. Just want to get those things in. little more localized, but get those things in. This SEC Big 12 Challenge, basketball-wise, I don't know how much, if any of that you watched. Next year it's going to be the SEC ACC Challenge.
Oh, okay.
But they try to match teams up that are about on the same level. The top 3 games were clear: Tennessee, Texas, Alabama, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Kentucky. I think the Big 12 took 2 out of 3 of those and took a majority of those SEC Big 12 games. What do you think about these conference challenge things?
I like them.
I do too.
You know, it allows you to see a different team out of conference and
a
get you
good
ready
team
for postseason play. Yeah, I do. I like it. Yeah, I definitely like it. And as we end our show, we got to talk about a legend that we lost in basketball. We have March Madness coming up soon. And Billy Packer, iconic college basketball announcer, a fixture, Scott, in Final Fours. From 1975 to 2008, he called every single Final Four. So that's a duration of 33 years. Think about that. My favorite growing up in the 70s was listening to Billy Packer, Al McGuire, and Dick Enberg. Those three guys were monster basketball announcers. This is the best broadcast team I've ever listened to in basketball, college or pro. Those guys right there. Billy Packer. He would be proud that the ACC, because he did a lot of ACC games, ACC, SEC next year. Billy Packer's going to be missed during March Madness this year, but I'm sure they'll be showing his picture and portrait, Scott, a lot during March Madness this year, 2023.
Yeah, it's a big loss. We take announcers and broadcasters and stuff like that for granted a lot until we lose them. And then we realize, oh, man, dude was awesome.
Yeah.
Billy Packer.
Rest gold standard.
In peace.
Gold standard of broadcasters. So Gold Ball Sports, we got a place for legendary announcers like that.
He's way above the podium, right?
He is, yeah, way above the podium.
Leading the podium this week. That's going to do it for us. We appreciate you tuning in to episode 18. Give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube. This thing will be up on YouTube in the next day or two. It's on Facebook right now. You can go back and watch it. Tell folks about it. Get them to subscribe and like the Facebook page. And we'll see you next week. For Dave Myers and Ken Keller, I'm Scott Chastain. Be good to each other.